Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by the Hard Truth Distilling Company in Brown County, Indiana.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, it's time!
Three on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Float game for the win! Ayler's gone. Goodbye. Touchdown, Indy. Woo! IU America. They got a football team now.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, from the Hard Truth Studios, here's Jim Coyle.
Good day, everybody. Welcome aboard to another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio. So happy to have you along with us on the ride, no matter how and where you're taking it. Of course, one of our great radio stations to feel it's like 97.7 ESPN, the Ref, always the right call down in Evansville, up in the region on the voice of the region, 1230 AM, 104.7 FM, WJOB, and in Fort Wayne on Fort Wayne's only sports station, 1380 The Fan. Just keep it locked right here all day. No reason to go anywhere else on any different radio station. Or if you're following us on YouTube, you can do that as well. We've got plenty of content for you. Make sure you're subscribed, locked in, got the notifications locked down. Plenty to get to today. Looking forward to a fun day. The final day of college basketball. A little sad, to be honest with you. It's a lot sad. What are you gonna? It's like the end of the Truman Show when everybody just sit there and stares at the TV. But how about that final? I told you, man, that Final Four was going to be good, and it was. Houston comes back to take down Duke after a chaotic ending. They're in the championship game, man. They're going for a title. As is Todd Golden in Florida, whom I had picked to win it. And I believe this is the final two that I had. I had Duke getting upset prior to the Final Four, actually. But they were for real. But not enough for Houston. Kelvin Sampson's got his crew in there. He can win a national championship. Todd Golden and the Florida Gators. SEC. With all the talk of the SEC, it would be kind of wild for the SEC to not win the national championship. But that goes to show you, with all the talk about the Big Ten, how tough it is. It doesn't matter. The SEC is having the greatest season of any conference in the history of college basketball, and they've only got a 50-50 shot of winning the national championship here. And the Big 12 of all conferences could end up doing that. But we'll see tonight. It'll be I expect another barn burner. Great college basketball going right down to the end. And unfortunately, it's pretty much in essence the end of the college basketball season. Of course, there's more coming up. Don't worry. You've got the All-Star games. You've got AAU, but you've got the transfer portal chasing. Indiana adds another player to the roster, of course, with Reed Bailey committing from Davidson transfer that probably not on a lot of people's radar, but that's okay. That's not my job. I'm not a GM, and I'm not getting hung up on names and this, that, and the other thing, because I was thinking about this the other day. Of the Florida players, how many of these guys have you ever heard of? Had you ever heard of prior to this season? And I'll tell you right now, if you say you've heard of a lot of them, you're not telling the truth unless you are a hard-nosed college basketball fan. These were not names that were just bouncing around everywhere, the haves and all of that, but they were the right halves for Todd Golden and Florida. They were the right team, the right pieces, and that's what it takes. Right pieces. Got to get the right ones. Because congratulations to all those guys that have made it that far. But the Davidson transfer power forward Reed Bailey has officially committed to Indiana, and that came from On3's Joe Tipton, of course. I'm telling you, people, I don't ever really say, hey, do this or do that, please. And I am now. Hey, go to thehoosier.com. Get yourself a subscription. Do yourself a favor. You want this kind of breaking news all the time? That's where it comes from. On3 is a great resource and a great partner for those On3 guys. Alec Lasley and Kyler Staley. Reed Bailey is the transfer. In addition to many others, it is really set up, and they've got a great special. Go take advantage of that. I'd appreciate it greatly if you would help those guys out. They're a great partner of ours, and just go to thehoosier.com. It's $1 for a month, and then 50% off, which is $5 a month for the rest of the year. So, and you'll be getting constant information like this. As Joe Tipton, again from On3, reported on Saturday that Reed Bailey had committed to Indiana. And in the On3 transfer portal rankings, he is currently ranked as a 4-star prospect and the number 23 prospect in the country, as well as the number 10 power forward. So don't get hung up on not knowing names. I'm telling you. I think that you're smart enough to have seen how this has all worked out with these teams. You got to get the right pieces in place, and it works. This season, Bailey stuffed the stat sheet. He scored almost 19 points a game, 6 points. Well, that's not right. 6.1 points per game after that. I think that meant rebounds. Almost 4 assists per game, and he shot 48% from the field. Also connected on 41.5% of his shots from beyond the arc. How about that? You got a big guy that can shoot. Woo! Novel experience. Novelty. Well, it is for Indiana. But again, I've been telling you, this is not going to be your grandpa's Indiana team that you've seen. You're going to see a product on the floor that you have not seen in quite some time, and you're going to be very happy about it. Bailey also scored a career-high 24 points at Fordham on January 17th while tallying his first double-double. But this is just the type of players that you're going to see just seeping into the Indiana roster. Fits. Guys that fit, that set up to play what style Darren DeVries plans on playing, and a little smaller, but by a little smaller, we're talking a 6'10 guy, but a 6'10 guy that can step out, draw guys out. And not everybody has a Danny Wolf that can guard him. I'm telling you, it's going to be fun to watch this team come together. It's going to be fun watching this whole thing come together. Indiana fans, if you will chill, you're going to be very, very happy without question. Appreciate everybody hitting us up on the hotline as well. Let's see. Michael says, as Jim said, take a look at the kids Todd Golden has on his roster. Right. That just stuck out to me. Thank you, Michael. That I was watching and I'm like, dude, how many of these names have people heard of? It's not the end of the season. Oh, you got to have this guy that's in the portal, or you got to have that guy that's in the portal. Doesn't work that way. You've got to have the right guy that's in the portal. Not this or that, but the right guy. So I'm telling you, don't get hung up on the speed at which that takes for them. They are getting the guys that they want, that they'd like to have. Not that they're saying that there aren't guys that they'd like to have that they're going to miss out on. We've already seen that happen with Josh Dix, but hey, that's going to happen. Happens with everybody. Flory Badunga, as a matter of fact, he's going back to Kansas. Tested the he did exactly what Todd Leary says the smart thing to do is, and it was. He tested the waters, especially when you're with a team like Kansas that has the dinero to pay. Go out and test those waters if they want you back. Or you can't find a suitor that can match what you're getting. Yeah, a little backtracking. So not sure whichever one it was. One of the two, doesn't matter. He's probably going to get him a little bump. And he'll be back paying for Bill Self. Probably not something Bill Self wanted to see either. It would have been a bad luck to lose someone like that they had paid that much money for and are just really in the stages of developing. Flory Badunga was in the development stage last year. He played, but it's not a star. You got to get him to that level. And that's the thing that you get these guys in and you're hoping to build on them, but doesn't always work out that way. Appreciate everybody hitting us up on the hotline, and you are doing so with a vengeance. Tons of great comments. Appreciate you. No matter where and how you are, like I said, don't forget, hey, go to thehoosier.com. I'm telling you, and do the guys a favor there. Just get your subscription. It's $1 for a month and only $5 a month thereafter. Constant, great content, breaking news, breaking stories, breaking players. This is where you're going to find it out first. Go into the forums, chat it up with those guys in there. Connor Enright, now, of course, already a part of the Indiana program. So now you've got a guard, a big 6'10" guy. You've got Tucker DeVries. You've got Trent Sisley, who will be a freshman. I would expect maybe 2 more freshmen on this roster, but not because they need it, because it's a lot of spots to have to fill, first of all. But they don't have to do that because they can just rail the transfer portal and get all that they want from there. Creighton is, John, you are not lying, brother. How about Creighton? Creighton is hitting it. They are doing very, very, very well and landing some guys. But let me tell you, Creighton, one of those schools, they're in the Big East, right? Well, it didn't dawn on me until, daggone it, the Maryland coach that just went to Villanova, Kevin, yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Drawing a blank on his name, the former Rick Pitino guy, but Willard. He pointed out something that I mentioned. Those Big East schools, none of them have football programs. That is going to be a huge advantage with the rev share that's coming out. All of these schools, Indiana included, SEC, Big 10, ACC, Big 12, the 75% of that money goes to football because it has to. That's the engine that drives the train for those guys. Now, I don't know that are the Big East teams going to get the same amount of money as everybody else. I mean, I would find that hard to believe since they don't have football to contribute to that. I'll have to check into that. Be very interesting. And I want to get Matt Winter back on here. He's a sports attorney. I want to know why. Yeah, Reed Bailey, Danny Wolf too, Andrew. He's not quite as tall, but not seeing how well he can handle the ball. But the fact that he has his numbers are great. Rebounds, assists, scoring. Boy, that's one you like to see. If you're a Hoosier fan, I don't know if I'm not going to say he's a Danny Wolf too. Danny Wolf's a bad man that I expect to be in the NBA draft first round this year. Let's see. Hitting up on some other comments. Let's see. Someone was saying something that somebody else said. I don't know. I can't read them all. Too many going on. I need somebody to read the comments and hit them up to me. Hope you guys are starting off well on this day. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. Looking forward to hopefully getting Dane Fife on with us today. He's supposed to be on. We've got plenty more coming at you from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios. Hope you got your Hard Truth lined up for tonight, baby, for the championship game. We're back with more from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios and Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after these messages.
At Ben Davis Chevrolet and Ben Davis Ford in Auburn, we're your one-stop shop for all of your automotive needs. We have the area's best selection of over 300 vehicles, including new cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Plus a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles in stock. And if we don't have what you're looking for, we'll find it for you. We also have top-of-the-line service and parts, plus a collision repair center, and we're competitively priced on everything. For sales, service, collision, parts, and more, we do it all. Come see us today or visit us online at bendavischevrolet.com and bendavisford.com.
Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth's sour mash bourbons, sweet mash, and hard road ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular toasted coconut rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Monday. So glad to have you along. As always, very, very fortunate, and very, very fortunate to have a good friend of the show, Dane Fife, take some time to spend with us and get him on the speaker there. Dane's on the phone with us. Dane, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Jim. I appreciate you having me on. Good to talk to you.
It is always my pleasure, brother, to talk to you. You've always been great to us, and just always been a great all the way around. How have you enjoyed the NCAA tournament so far?
Oh, it's been outstanding. I don't know what the public sentiment is, whether they've enjoyed it or not, but I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed watching the games, enjoyed watching the strategy, and my Spartans almost made it all the way to the Final Four. I thought they were gonna beat Auburn, but a very good season for my Spartans. Hoosiers, they did okay, but
no, they didn't. No, they didn't. Let's just be honest here. No. This is a no BS fly zone here, baby. No, they did not. But I'm glad you brought up the Spartans, because was this Tom Izzo's best coaching job ever. And I understand he's won a national championship. I understand he's had tons of great teams, but this was not a team that had a quote unquote superstar on it. It didn't have so much of those teams that he has succeeded so highly with. I'm just thinking he did one hell of a coaching job. Nobody expected Michigan State to really win the Big Ten title, to do what they did. But it's Tom Izzo. I don't know why we shouldn't expect that.
I think that's the best point you made, that it's just what Tom Izzo does. And I can remember our two Final Four teams that I was part of at Michigan State were probably the two least talented teams that I'd coached at Michigan State. I was there for 10 years, and as I said, our two Final Four teams were probably our least talented teams out of the 10. So I think your best point is that Tom Izzo just flat out understands how to motivate players. He knows how to coach, but he knows how to motivate kids, and he can take blue-collar teams that are not as talented, and make them tough, competitive. They share the ball, and they really are a unit. And those are the teams that you generally succeed in March. And I think you look at the teams in the national championship game, Houston and Florida, and that's all that Sampson for Houston and Golden for Florida talk about is how close their teams are as units.
And I think we see that on the floor. They play very unselfishly. They play together and they play to win. And it's funny you say that because before you joined us, I was talking about Florida and talking about Indiana as they slowly add names to their roster. The most recent one, the kid from Davidson, that I'm like, okay, I know that none of you've never heard of the kid. But guess what? I said, how many players on Florida's roster had you ever heard of prior to this year? I'm going to guess probably none unless you are just a college basketball freak. And yet here they are poised to win a national championship. People have got to get away from these star names, I think, and just understand it's about putting a team together with the best talent you can get.
Sure, I can agree with you on that, Jim. I think yes, there is. It's fashionable to love the Cooper Flags of the world, and the Cooper Flag's incredible. He's made college basketball, really, really fun this year. But I think the better story is what you alluded to. You take Walter Clayton Jr. of Florida, who's become the darling of college basketball, simply because he keeps his mouth shut. He's relatively unknown, and he plays his butt off. And he really is fun, exciting to watch. So if you haven't watched him, for the people that are listening, my gosh, pay close attention, because he'll come out of nowhere and knock down a couple shots. He takes some wild shots, but he makes them too. That's what makes scouting reports so difficult for a guy like Walter Clayton Jr., because the term would be takes and makes tough shots, and you cannot be surprised when he shoots the ball.
No, and just watching these, all of these teams. I mean, of course, Jai Broom we knew was a great player. Cooper Flag, the number one player in the country, of course, going to be the number one drafted the NBA draft coming up. But neither of those guys are going to be playing for a championship.
That's a good point. And I think I don't know if the ratings will suffer, but
they haven't yet.
I know this. What's that?
They have not yet.
Yeah. So when you take a Duke and maybe an Auburn with Broom and Bruce Pearl out of the equation, I think the expectation would be, it's just I haven't heard of these squads, but I haven't heard of these players that are playing in the game. But I encourage everybody to take a close look at the way Florida plays and this guy, Walter Clayton Jr., and the way Houston plays, and really watch just how well they play together. You don't see a lot of bad shots being taken, and you see a lot of camaraderie, communication, huddles after dead balls. That's a sign of a really good team where the players are governing themselves. You know, Gino Ariema, I don't know if you watched the Women's National Championship yesterday, but Gino Ariema just had a really good comment about how his players, I think towards the very end of the year, they really fell in love. He used the quote that they fell in love with each other. They fell in love with being part of a team, and they really became one. And I think it was literally 5 or 6 games ago that he alluded to. I just thought that was a really interesting comment. And I think it really speaks to how these teams, they take a while to really develop and really peak. And you're seeing that with Houston's been pretty good all year, but the hope is that you're playing your best basketball now. And I think we're seeing that with both Houston and Florida. And it's been really fun to watch these teams over the course of probably the last 8 or 10 games as they've gone into their conference tournaments and now into the NCAA tournament.
Well, I think it's a great point because obviously, as well as these teams are, as well as some of these teams are put together, like I talked about earlier with the bigger names, at the end of the day, it's the best teams that will come out on top. And that is going to be proven in this championship tonight. But in this day and age of NIL and all of that stuff, I think I cannot think of a greater point to harp home on first of all, this being what many are considering one of the best tournaments ever. And I know it's been chalky, but it doesn't matter. The ratings are through the roof. People are loving these games. You're getting to see Houston take on a Florida team that probably maybe I could see people putting Houston up there at the beginning of the year, probably not Florida, but this is how it's supposed to be. And we don't know how it's going to turn out.
Well, I think what's interesting is that you have the teams that are run of the mill, and they're going deeper into the tournament, which means larger fan bases, alumni bases. The bigger schools maybe have made a difference in tournament followings. Yes, you don't have your supersonic upset, media darling, smaller school, but I think what you do have is you do have the you've got the Power 5 schools that are involved, and the teams that we've watched all year, the teams that we're familiar with. I think familiarity does make a difference relative to fanfare. I don't know exactly why it's one of the most watched tournaments in recent history, but that's my theory.
Well, it's as good as anybody's. So I guess we can always start calling you Dr. Fife.
No, I like that.
Yeah, a little something new. So what is new with Dr. Fife?
Dr. Fife selling insurance, watching a lot of basketball, being a dad, following his daughters around. Occasionally when my wife lets me into the house, I get to hang around with her every once in a while. And we watch some shows. We do some cooking.
What show are you watching? I just picked up a new show a couple of new shows here.
Well, what is that? High Surf. It's a Hawaii show. It's on.
Yeah, you've got me lost already.
Yeah. So not too much. I lead a pretty boring life, but I've got a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old daughter. They're doing sports.
Your daughters are. Oh my God, they're that old now. Holy
smokes! So there's plenty for me to do.
Holy smokes! So are they in sports?
Yep. They're doing basketball and volleyball. So we've got plenty to do, and like I said, I stay involved in sports quite a bit. I go watch practices, college practices, high school practices. So I stay involved. Yep.
Well, I would imagine we can't have you getting uninvolved. Who are you? What kind of insurance are you selling? We get a plug out there.
Commercial insurance. Yep. commercials, so large commercial businesses.
Love that. All right. Well, I'll get more information on that from you later. We'll give you what's the name of the company?
MJ Insurance, actually the MJ companies, but we're based out of Indianapolis. We're a big company out in Indianapolis. Great company, man. I wouldn't have it any other way. Just an incredible company, and I can't see myself doing anything else. Working with a great group of people.
We'll push on that MJ. We'll find more out about MJ Insurance and push that for you a little bit later on. But just for those of you, anybody, commercial businesses, owners, there you go. You want to keep it in the family. Dane Fife selling commercial insurance. So I guess you get you need to hook up with daggone it. Anthony Leal. He's selling commercial property, and then you can insure him.
Yeah, I like that. It's a good plan. Yep, I will connect with the Leal deal and Leal Estate and see if we can do some moving and shaking for him.
You might as well. I mean, that's how the world works, man. So, do you anticipate getting back into coaching, or is that something that you want to step away from? Just get into a normal life. You just said you've got a relatively normal life right now, and coaching is far from a normal life.
Yeah, it is. It's having your weekends off and your nights relatively free to go watch your kids, to do different things has been a blessing. And Jim, you never say never, but one of the problems I've been having is I don't want to leave Bloomington.
I don't think Bloomington wants you to leave either.
Well, my daughters are holding me captive, holding my wife and I captive. We told them when we moved down here to Bloomington that we wouldn't leave, and so any other coaching job outside of Bloomington would prevent me from leaving, because I'm not going to separate myself from my family, especially when my daughters are they're growing up and they're almost out of the house. I want to see them through. So I just don't have any interest in coaching. It really limits my ability to coach. And I had opportunities. I'm not leaving my family. And I told them we'd stay in Bloomington, and it's just not worth it to move. And I'm in a really good spot in my life relative to my job and my family and where we live. So life couldn't be better. I would say, though, never say never with coaching, but at this point, I don't plan on getting back in it. Nope.
Yeah, it's hard to always write that off, because you never know what might come along. So trust me, I understand that. And you never know. With today's game is changing so fast. There are positions that were not there 2-3 years ago, Dane, like a GM. A GM position that I'm quite certain Indiana is going to be creating.
Yeah, I think a GM, it sounds appealing, but I think you're entering some waters that we're dealing with people you've never had to, at least I've never had to deal with before, and that would be mainly agents or, negotiating money that there is no end, and there really isn't a lot of there's not a lot of concrete financial terms that you're looking at. And what I mean by that is there is no ceiling. There is no market value for a college player, for a freshman, for a sophomore, for a transfer. There's no market value. So right now the market is being set, and it's being set every single time you bring in a player. And so I'm just not sure that that's very appealing. But then again, there is some crossover. I know plenty of GMs right now, or so-called GMs, that are also doing a lot of the coaching. But then too, a lot of the negotiating and the financial terms, the assistants have to do a lot of that too. So if you're going to be in coaching nowadays, you're going to be in college, you're going to have to deal with understanding what a player's financial value is, and probably have to deal with agents. So I don't think it's I think every assistant nowadays has to be prepared for that and understand that and understand how to navigate those waters.
How much coaching experience would a GM for a college program need, and how much more would it be on what you just talked about, more about the numbers and knowing the value and negotiating and all of that? Is there much coaching that would be involved in that position, coaching experience, I should say?
Jim, I always felt like the coaching part of basketball, the actual X's and O's is about 10%. Because if you take the year, it goes up during the actual season, that percentage goes up. But in the off season, you're spending most of your time trying to help that young man, that young person grow as a human being. You're really teaching life skills and helping them navigate through life to make them better. I always liked Coach Izzo's theory. If you can help the player eliminate the distractions in their life, that's when they really move forward. But the problem is there's so many distractions nowadays, from social media to money to social life to parents to aunts, uncles, coaches that are in these kids' ears. That's the goal, is to keep those distractions to a minimum. And if you can keep everybody in line, pushing the player forward, it's hard for that player to fail. But the tough part is getting everybody in line and keeping those distractions limited.
And today, with the portal being just almost an automatic, you can figure that at least half of your team, on a minimum, if not more, will enter the portal at season's end for a lot of teams. I don't know if that's always the case. I know that Matt Painter says, he tries to have conversations with his guys before the season ends to get an idea. But, I don't know if a player knows that point, how honest they could be at that point. But keeping a team together, I would not in any way want to be a coach in that regard today.
Yeah, I'd say if I were advising a player under the current conditions, I'd tell him to go to the portal every year.
Todd Leary said the same thing.
Yeah, and you can't, you really can't lose. Now, I know there's exceptions to the rule, and plenty of kids probably do lose money that they otherwise would have been making. But I'm used to the Power 5, and if I'm Power 5, you go to the portal every year because there is no penalties. I guess the difference between a coach and a player now, if coach decides to, but for players, there is nothing. And so I would see what my value is every year, and I'd go to the portal, no question about it. There just is no guardrails, and it's chaos right now. I sense that loyalty is mostly dead. And it's very transactional right now. I don't even know how you have trust, but I'm sure it exists. I don't know how you can form trust when everything's so financially based. And it just wasn't that way in college. It never was that way, and now it is.
I agree. Do you think there are some teams that are managing to get that done, and those that do are having more success?
I think there are some teams. Purdue and Michigan State come to mind, but then there's also plenty out there that Houston comes to mind. Houston's got relatively good roster that's maintained players, multiple players that have been there for 2, 3, 4 years. But for the most part, you also have your programs that just go out and get the best players or the best fits, and that's their prerogative. And most times, you have no control over it. But when you take someone like Auburn or Duke, that they take some of the Duke's models. Looks like they're going to take some of the best freshmen and fill in the gaps with some players from different programs, like Gillis from Purdue. There's always been different models, but by and large, I think you're gonna, if the rules stay the way they are, it's gonna get everybody, even the Michigan States and Purdue's. The transfer portal is gonna get everybody, and it's gonna be hard keep kids 2 and 3 years and 4 years.
Yeah, and if I was a coach at the mid-major level, I don't know how that would just seem to be a very, very difficult place to be, because you are poised for poaching every single year like nobody's business.
Yeah, you've got to go into that with the knowledge that you've got to try. If you're a mid-major coach, you've got to try to win and move up, because otherwise the college Grim Reaper is going to get you. It's just hard. It's going to be hard to maintain that type of level of play if you are winning when you don't have the financial resources to either keep players or continue and to fill in gaps with really good talent. If you don't have the kind of money that I say the market, if you don't have the money to afford the top tier talent based on your league.
Now, Indiana obviously just went through a change again, and there's a new head coach, a new entire team in there as far as his staff, and every player virtually is going to be brand new. Do you have any familiarity with Darren DeVries?
I don't. Other than I watched his teams a little bit at Drake the year prior to when he went to West Virginia, and then I watched a little bit of West Virginia this year. But otherwise, I don't. I don't think I'd met him previously. But you know what? I think all things point towards good stuff from Coach DeVries. I like his demeanor. He seems no nonsense. He seems to really understand, based on what I'm seeing so far, the players he's bringing in. Really understand what's going to help. He's going to recruit to his style. He's bringing in kids that can pass the ball, that can good competitors. But it's time will tell. He's still got to fill a roster. I think as of now, he's probably got 3 or 4 players.
I think 4 in totality. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got to get 8, 9, 10, 11 players that that could make Indiana a really viable challenger to the top teams in the Big Ten. So he's got work to do, but Scott Dolson knows what he's doing, and I trust Scott will ensure that Coach DeVries has everything he needs to bring in the top talent.
Yeah, you mentioned Scott. I mean, he did the impossible with football. I mean, Indiana football was in essence a walking corpse of a program, and now all of a sudden they went to the college football playoffs. That's unbelievable. Now, if he can get basketball turned around, he's going on the Mount Rushmore of Indiana athletics, brother.
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat to see, where you'd have IU football and basketball in the upper echelon of college sports, college athletics lore. It would be incredible. I was here during the Randall L years when I was a student athlete, and had a great time. It seemed like they'd either have a really good offense or a really good defense forever. And with Randall L, they had a really good offense. But what football's doing right now is it's great for the community. It just I can't wait for this fall, just to see those guys go out there and compete. I don't know if they'll be as good as they were last year.
I think they'll have a better team personally.
Yeah.
I don't know that they'll have a better record.
Wow. I enjoy how they compete, and I enjoy the demeanor they have, the football program had last year. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
Did you get to go to any games?
I don't really go to many games. I went to a couple basketball games this year. I like staying home and watching them on TV, to be honest with you.
Well, football seemed like it would be easier to get lost in the crowd than basketball.
It's not really about that as much as I like to rewind and watch replays, and Football, I have no interest just because I'm not sitting out there in the sun all day. Basketball, at least you have a roof over you, but I really just like to sit and chill on the couch and really study those games as opposed to be at the game and not have instant replays generally.
Well, I get that because I feel the same way. I cannot stand when I cannot hear a game and hear what's going on, not because I want the play-by-play. I can see what's happening. It's all the other information that gets delivered that you may not know about.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you.
So now that you've got spring coming on, being in the insurance business, and I mentioned earlier, golfing is something you're going to have to start doing a little bit more of.
Yeah, I know. I've got to invest in some sunscreen, though. I really don't like the sun very much.
The sun doesn't seem like it likes you. You are pretty pale. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
But you're right. I got to get out and play some golf, and we'll play some golf one of these days, big guy.
Well, yeah, that's going to be the main deal, man. Get those new clients out there on the course.
That's right.
And I got to tell you, I'm jealous in a lot of ways because having a normal life, people don't get it. When you've spent so much time there's a lot to be said for quality of life.
Yeah, you're right. I'd agree with that. There's some pros and cons. The negative to it is I get bored. I'm used to always being on the go, so there's times where I get bored. Where I'm done. There's not much to do at night, or I do get bored. But the pros outweigh the cons, where I get to be with my family. I get nights off. I get weekends. I can go watch my girls. So there's certainly the benefits.
No doubt, brother. And it's always a benefit when we are pleasured enough to have you take time to spend with us. And I sincerely mean that. I'm grateful for any time that you take to talk to us. And I love catching up, man. You're always a great dude. And how's your buddy, oh my gosh, the originator, the man who did it first, Mr. Sagarin, doing?
Sagarin's doing okay. He's had some health issues, but I think he's doing okay. Yeah, the original statistics guru. Yeah, he's doing okay. Yep, he's doing well.
Yeah, he was. Dude, I remember reading his stuff when I was in high school. That's how long he's been doing it.
I know. It seems like early 80s, maybe. I think really when he got started. MIT guy, so he's a brilliant mind and just a fascinating guy to talk to. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, brother, I appreciate you. And I know everybody loves hearing from you. They love hearing you when you're on Dan's show as well. You guys are a lot better together than us two, because you've got a lot more inside things you could talk about. But it's always a blast. I sincerely appreciate you, and I hope to see you out somewhere soon.
Bet, Jim. Good to talk to you, man.
You too, buddy. You have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon about your commercial interest.
Yes, sir. I'll be ready.
MJ, baby. MJ Insurance.
There you go.
Dane Fife, appreciate you, my friend.
See you, man. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, buddy. Cannot thank Dane enough for taking the time to join us on the program today. Hey, we've got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. We've got to hit a break. We're late. That's okay. It was worth it. Back with more right after these messages from the Hard Truth Distilling Company Studios. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth's sour mash bourbons, sweet mash, and hard road ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular toasted coconut rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. Ugly Grouper, located on beautiful Anna Maria in Florida, is the place to be, and not just because they have unforgettable meals, including locally sourced seafood. The Ugly Grouper has your favorite craft beers and cocktails, along with live music every day. The Ugly Grouper is family-friendly, able to host private parties, and has the biggest grouper you've ever seen. The Ugly Grouper is the place to be on Anna Maria Island, Florida. Tell them Indiana Sports Beat sent you. Go to theuglygrouper.com for more information. When it comes to apparel and promotions, Freethink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. Freethink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. Freethink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what Freethink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com.
At Ben Davis Chevrolet and Ben Davis Ford in Auburn, we're your one-stop shop for all of your automotive needs. We have the area's best selection of over 300 vehicles, including new cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Plus a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles in stock. And if we don't have what you're looking for, we'll find it for you. We also have top-of-the-line service and parts, plus a collision repair center, and we're competitively priced on everything. For sales, service, collision, parts, and more, we do it all. Come see us today or visit us online at BenDavisChevrolet.com and BenDavisFord.com.
Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Monday. So glad to have you along. Just finished up a very long segment with Dane, and that's not his fault. I could have gone much longer. Probably could have used a break in there, but it won't be long till we hit one here. But looking forward to getting Dustin Dopirak on with us as well. But man, it's always a blast to talk to Dane. He's just always fun, down to earth, cool things. I know that you guys probably would like to have talked about other things, but I just like having the conversations, man. Enjoy it. And I'm glad to see he is having just a regular life. There you go. Exactly, Aaron. Happy he's having fun life with his daughters, and you know what? How lucky are they to get to have their dad at home, to where normally probably would not have been the case if he was coaching. You're gone, especially this day and age. You spend so much time away. It's crazy, but grateful to have him join us, and looking forward to Dustin Dopirak. I'd love to hopefully get him back on more in the future. I know he's busy out there doing that, but man, he was a huge lover of Indiana, and you got to respect and give it up the fact that he gave up a lot to come back. He gave up a 10-year spot with Tom Izzo to come back to Indiana. So, hey, we've got to take a pause for the cause. More coming up on the backside from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios right after these messages. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth's sour mash bourbons, sweet mash, and hard road ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular toasted coconut rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer. Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Monday. Glad to have you all along with us, and glad to have tonight's national championship game ahead of us as Duke upset. I shouldn't say upset, shocked by Houston and Kelvin Sampson, as it looked like the Dukies. I pretty much they were going to go, in there, but into the championship game, but didn't happen. And they expected it. Trust me. The locker room afterwards was just silent as the media gets to go in there. And Cooper Flagg, this will be his one and only shot. He's gone. Not only is he going to the NBA without question, think about this. Montverde Academy last year, I saw someone mention something a little bit ago as Dustin Dopirak joins us now from the Indy Star. Dustin, right before we get started, I was talking about, it's perfect, actually segue, the NBA draft that will be coming up. Montverde Academy will have, I don't know, if maybe 5 first-round draft picks. I don't know if they'll all be first round, but Cooper Flagg will be first round. Derek Queen will be first round. Asa Newell, I'm not sure where he sits. Liam McNeely, is he a first rounder?
I think so. Let me look.
But I mean, this is off of one stinking high school team, man.
Yeah,
which you can't really call them a high school team, I don't think. But
I mean, it's prep school. It's obviously a different ballgame. I'm the mock draft I'm looking at right now has Asa Newell going 8th. So
really,
Flagg 1, Newell 8, Queen 10, McNeely 16. Who else was on that group? I feel like
I can't remember. I'll have to pull them up. I'll pull up last year's Montverde team. There were 6 guys, I think, that went to division that were starting Division 1. Tag on it. Let's see, what year was that? That'd be 2024 basketball. But yeah, that team was so crazy loaded. It was just unbelievable.
Right.
Right now they've got CJ Ingram and Trent Sisley and a few others. I was up watching them play at the Chipotle Nationals that took place at Hamilton Southeastern last week. That is over now. Saw the Boozer brothers
won it yesterday morning.
And then Jermaine O'Neal. Did they beat Jermaine O'Neal's team? Is that who they beat?
Yes.
That two beat Montverde Academy. Jermaine O'Neal coaching that squad, looking awfully svelte, by the way.
Yeah, he's keeping it together in his age. Good for him, man.
Yeah, I'm like, dang, those guys look better than when they played, man.
I mean, they're around. He's around teenagers. It's keeping him young.
But how crazy is that to have? I agree with you, Maxine. It is nuts. But I mean, how crazy is even on a prep team to have that kind of talent on the one team?
Yeah, no, I mean it's wild. I mean, and obviously from between covering IU and Andrew Nemhard was a Montverde guy also, and so I've been just between all the focus that IU did on it, obviously with Renew and Hood Schifino, and then with Nemhard here, it's like just talking to anybody about it, you get it. I think I talked to Andrew Nemhard's dad, and he was just like, the way he described it is he says it's a war in that gym. He's like, it is not nice in that gym. You are practicing against pros every single day. And when you establish that high of a bar, then everybody wants to go there. And so obviously, I know Kevin Boyle's leaving, but I mean, just what he established there was amazing. And obviously, like it is, to your point, it's a different ball game when you're talking about prep school, and it's not even the same as college recruiting. I mean, if you establish that high a bar, you don't have a lot of competition. There's only so many high schools, so many prep schools that can do that. There are a lot of prep schools out there. There are a lot of options, but it's different in terms of those that have national recruiting and those that can say, we're churning out this many pros. I mean, obviously, they've got another one in their backyard with IMG that was built solely for the purpose of attracting athletes. I mean, that was why they built the place in Bradenton in the first place. But because basically how they've built their program over the last 10, 15 years, everybody who goes there knows that's probably the best chance they'll have to be a pro. They're obviously guys coming off the bench that are going to be NBA players. On that team. Nemhard was a guy who came off the bench as a junior, and is starting guard for the Pacers. So I mean, it's like that's how good it is. And so, I mean, like it might fall off, probably will fall off, obviously, with the coaching change. It's, it tends to be how it goes when someone's that good and that established. It's hard to maintain that, when you get to the next guy. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing what they've done. It's just this run of guys was ridiculous. I know Nemhard was on a podcast. I don't know if which he was on two podcasts, and I can't remember which one he was talking about Montverde on. I think it was actually D'Angelo Russell's podcast. Maxine's going to have a lot of thoughts today. There's construction going on in the area, so
she doesn't like it. She's not about it.
She would like to know where everybody got their permits. Basically, if they're building everything to code.
Does she have her hard hat on? She got a hard hat on her vest.
She's going to, but they haven't run this past her yet, and she's just letting her know what the neighborhood rules are that every plan should run through Maxine.
HOA. She's a president of the HOA, baby.
Exactly. She's telling everybody, wait, hold on a second. I don't know that someone should have run this by me.
Got a clipboard. Anyway. She's got a clipboard out there. Got a pin in her mouth.
Yeah, she does. So she's going to be making some noise today.
That lineup.
But bottom line, it's amazing what they've done. In my mind, it's really amazing.
That Montverde lineup quickly: Cooper Flagg, Derek Queen, Liam McNeely, Asa Newell, Robert Wright, who went to Baylor, and Curtis Gibbons, who went to LSU.
Yeah,
that was their top 6 player. Those were their top 6 players. In addition to many others, but those were just the top 6 is all.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't even know who's on the team. Some of those guys obviously stick around for a couple of years and might still be on the team now. And
now Cooper Flagg's brother was on there last year, and I don't know that
he's playing college ball somewhere, isn't he?
Oh, he was a junior last year, I thought.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I gotta look that up. But
But anyway, so now, and I wonder how much more we'll hear from Montverde Academy, because Boyle left, and that did not end acrimoniously. He wanted to make the announcement. They did not want him to make the announcement. They were going to make it. He said, "No, I'll make it," and that turned into something. Well, he was not coaching them when they were here for the Chipotle Nationals last week. He was not their coach, and it really Montverde kind of screwed their own team in doing that, I think. But that's neither here nor there, and that's come and gone. So Dustin will be back with us here in a second. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, they kind of screwed it. But Trent Sisley got kind of caught up in that crap. didn't really have the chance to play as well as they probably would have liked to have played, although the team that they lost to was Jermaine O'Neal's team who played for the championship, so not that big of a deal. Man, the Final Four is tonight, and no surprise with Houston over Duke to me, but
the way it happened.
Yeah, but there. So how it happened, and how about them apples?
Yeah, no, I mean, just really impressive defensive performance by Houston down the stretch, and obviously Duke, just kind of falling apart there. And what it was, one field goal in the last 10 minutes, something along those lines. And it still amazes me how many good teams over time you've seen fall apart against a really good pressure trap. They Duke had a hard time getting the ball in, hard time doing what they needed to do. Obviously caught some bad breaks. I mean, the over the back foul on Flag was probably wrong. But still, you also, just as you put yourself in position to succeed, sometimes you put yourself in a position to fail. And, where you get a bad break and maybe you shouldn't lose, but you put yourself in a position that only one bad break was enough for you to lose. So that's kind of a spot where Duke was in, and Houston's that's just a tough, gritty team. You've known that obviously for whatever thoughts you have on Sampson and his broader career arc. I think I'm amazed at just how tough and nasty Sampson teams are and continue to be, and they just did a really good job of finding a way over and over and over again down the stretch there. So remarkable stuff. Obviously, not with 4 number 1 seeds, no result is a shock. Obviously, it's the top four teams in college basketball, so any of the 4 teams that win, it's not a big surprise. But really remarkable how well just Houston did in coming back and just keeping Duke from doing anything right, really in the last 10 minutes.
Absolutely. And so now we get to watch Florida and Houston. Again, 2 teams that are very different in style, but this whole Final Four was made up of different styles. And this is going to be a team that's trying to impose their will on Florida, whom will be imposing their own will in a different manner on Houston. And this should be another great game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think obviously we spend the entire first round complaining about Cinderellas, and then you get into the Final Four and you have 4 number 1 seeds, and it's like, okay, there's always a trade-off. When it's so chaotic, you sometimes don't get the best teams in the first in the Final Four. When it isn't chaotic, you kind of lose some of that juice in the first couple rounds, but you get it back, and that's the fun part about getting it back is you're seeing the best 4 teams in the league play in college basketball play, and the games have been thrilling, and you're looking at. I think Florida's been. She should, Philip. She really should. She
Philip asking is Maxine checking DeVries roster construction permits.
That's a really good joke too. That's well played on that pun, by the way. Done. Well done, sir. Excellent work. She should. She'll talk to him about what he. She wants to know how that roster is going to be put together. Is it going to fit a system? Does he know what he's doing? She'll be asking those questions because she, like both of her parents, is journalistically minded. But yeah, I think. I was really impressed by Florida too. Obviously down the stretch, they obviously had to come back as well. Walter Clayton has just been incredible. The shots that he's put together, and they're obviously opportunistic defensively. They like to run. They're certainly a little more fast paced than Houston is. And I'm sure Houston is going to have a method for guarding Clayton, but Clayton just keeps finding a way to hit to use a term Rick Carlisle likes a lot, hellacious shots over and over again, just tough spots, being in tough positions. I've been just super impressed with everything he's done in the clutch in this entire tournament. And he was incredible the other night against Auburn. And so, that's something.
That helps things. I'm just playing some music in the background to see if it helps things. I was just playing some music in the background just to see if it helped soothe the savage beast.
Again, you're not going to be able to. That's not doing anything for the work outside. She still wants to see those permits.
I hear you.
She
So
wants to cheer
Indiana
very
now,
because the music's not going to help any causes. So
speaking of roster construction, you've got 4 guys, one of which is Trent Sisley. So I'm only saying that because he was coming already, kind of a package deal. It's already there. But so he's added his son, which an easy add there. But it's the type of player. Then now you've got the Connor Enright. You've added a guard. Now you've just added the 6'10" guy that can not only is a big but can shoot outside, which that's I just keep thinking of Michigan and Danny Wolf.
Sure,
man, holy cow! If you have to yourself a Danny Wolf, you're ahead of the game,
right? Yeah, I mean, it's lower on volume. I mean, I think that's one thing. I mean, I saw the percentage number for Reed Bailey, and then you got to dig into it a little bit. I mean, he's 41.5% from 3, but he's 17 of let me look at here. He was 17 of 41. Last year, he was 13 of 60. Year before, he was 10 of 29. You're not talking about super high volume, but I mean, he can shoot it, and that does matter. I mean, it does matter if you have to, take him seriously back there. But it's not huge numbers. I mean, it's not like he's living back there, and that's the biggest part of his offense. But it's something to note, and obviously, just skill wise across the board, you got to get a lot of good stuff out of Reed Bailey. I mean, he had 125 assists this year in 33 games. So, a tick under 4.0 per game. He's at 3.8 per game. I mean, so he's obviously moving the ball well, skilled with the basketball in his hands. I think he's 48.3% from 2. He's making a lot of his shots in there. A lot of stuff that you got to be pleased with across the board. I mean, the threes are nice, but it's not a huge number, so you don't want to get too carried away. Grand total in 3 years at Davidson, he was 40 of 130, so that's 30.8%. Again, good leap this year, but some of it was keeping it at low volume and just not taking a ton of them. So probably just taking the really good ones and hitting them, which is still important. But just across the board, a lot of skill, the ability to finish at the rim, shoot in close, rebounding the ball well, but just being the guy at an A-10 school matters. I mean, averaged 18.8 a game. I think he was, what is he? 8. So it's all 10. He was all A-10, most improved player in the A-10 this year. Some stuff worth noting. So it's a really good start. Obviously, I mean, again, everybody's in the portal, and you don't have a really great idea of who you are until it shakes out. Until it shakes out entirely, and everybody's kind of fallen in, and obviously they need to put together a whole roster, so a lot has to get done in the portal. But that's a nice piece. Certainly, again, to get a guy who's big and skilled that you can build around, and it looks like again that he at least can shoot, can step outside, and you got 6'10" in there. So I mean, good start. Again, it's hard to say whether he's on pace, but then you get a guy in Connor Enright who can really move the ball. I think 6.2 assists. Obviously, DePaul's not busting the joint up over there, but still, 6.2 per game. It's got a guy that's willing passer, willing to move the ball. You got a good lead scorer and really good shooter in his son, and then a guy like Trent Sisley. And so you've got, you've got the start of a foundation. Obviously, that's not it's not a 5-man team yet. But it's the beginnings. And so you hang in there, you keep in, get as many, portal guys as you can. You see where it goes. I mean, it is still tough for all we talk about. Well, you can build a team in the portal in a year now. Still difficult, still not easy, still not easy to put it together when you're banking it on that you're still going after guys who wanted to leave, wherever they were. So, it's not easy. It's not a thing that you can just flip a switch and do. And he also is not a position where he could just take the whole team from West Virginia. That's a different story than he might have been able to take the whole team from Drake if he came straight there. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, but not a bad start to the first week or so or maybe it's the last first weekend of getting guys signed up. But there seems to be, he at least seems to be getting skilled guys and guys who are willing to move the basketball, and that's a big piece to start.
Howie says, as of April 6th, there were just over 1,700 Division I men's players in the portal. But I think that there are, aren't there like 10,000 that play total in Division I?
Let's do the math. What are we at? 350 now schools?
300, yeah, right. 352 thereabouts.
That's 15. So that would be 5,250 scholarship players. Or is it 12? Are they 12 scholarships or 15?
13. They were
13.
Well, they were 13.
Yeah.
Now they're going to allowing 15 total roster positions. It's still so confusing.
So
Zach was on with us.
13 scholarships and it's 350 schools, and it's 4,550 total scholarships. I mean, it might be 351, it might be 352, but it's somewhere in that range. So 3,550 divided by 1,700, and I can't remember what the last two numbers you just said were, but let's say 80.
5341. How about that?
What's up?
5341.
5341. Okay, so like 1,700.
So about, I don't know if that's quite 30%. It's not a third, but
31.8%. 31.8%.
Damn, I'm close. I'm good. But yeah, so a third, which really, but it's not a lot when you consider 2/3 of them are not in the portal.
Yeah.
So it just seems like everybody is in the portal.
It's still a lot. Still a whole lot.
And it will probably, and it's going to grow every year because the money has virtually doubled year over year. I mean, freaking doubled and then some, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and obviously we'll see how the House settlement changes things. And there's going to be, I think there's going to be a little bit of a pullback on the basis of, we're almost done with the COVID guys. I'm sure there are still some players that are around that have COVID years left, but that class is almost entirely passed through, I think. Maybe some guys had injuries or whatever, but I think we're getting close to that, that nobody in college basketball was in, we're within a year or two of having it so nobody who was in college basketball was there for 2021. So,
we can't get done with that soon enough.
Sure. Absolutely. So we're heading towards that, at least, that you're going to see fewer 6th, 7th, 8th year guys. And whatever that is. And so, you're getting closer to being able to move on from that.
Isn't it funny though, how many guys were leaving college early and now it has done a 180. You can't get guys out of college. Oh no, give me my junior college JUCO years back. I want 5 years of Division I, baby. Exactly. Sure. Maxine says, I want my piece of the pie, baby.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm like, absolutely. When you're talking about people that were either be playing professionally in Europe, or B, just going to be an employee, just getting out of basketball. I mean, like, financially, it's insane not to take every dime. There, plenty of guys. I mean, like, I have no idea what he would have done in this circumstance, but Ryan Klein was a really good college basketball player at Purdue, and would have made plenty of NIL money.
Where did he end up?
What's up?
Where did he end up?
Finance.
He left and just left basketball.
Yeah, he went to, just decided he didn't want to do the whole chasing the dream around the country, around the world sort of thing. Obviously grew up in Carmel, smart kid, really smart kid, connected. Was just like, okay, I don't know if he worked at a bank or whatever, but I mean, by the following season, he was in the stands, and it was just, he was good with it, had a really good 4-year career at Purdue. Took them, helped take them to the Elite Eight, was a really good player there, decided he didn't want to do the whole, globe trotting thing. Didn't see a path to the NBA. Would have been tough for him to get, even the G League would have been a little bit difficult, and just decided, hey, I'm just going to go make money. And so, there's a lot of guys who could be in that position to say, all right, well, you might be able to make $600,000, $700,000, playing one more year of college basketball. And then if you want to move on and you don't want to try to go play in Luxembourg next year, just you take another year of money, play through your 6th year. And then when you're done, you're done. And so there's a lot of guys, there's people in that position. There might be people who want to go to law school or something like that. It's like, hey, that pays for your education, going forward. Because for all the opportunity you have to go to grad school. Like you can't play basketball and go to law school or medical school. Like that's not like, I mean, Joey Brunk, the whole entire time he was in school, and he was in for 6 years or whatever, wanted to go to law school, but it's like, you can't do it. Like, it's not a thing that you can pull off. So, I mean, if you're going to go pick up a whole bunch of NIL money, you could put it to that. There's a whole bunch of opportunities you have to stick around. And, like, obviously when it comes to the NBA, like, people are talking about, well, is there enough NIL money for Cooper Flag to stay? There's not. It's for as much money as there is in NIL. When you're talking about the NBA, it's a different story, and it's not just your rookie scale deal. It's
there's enough money for him to stay for a year. It's just that it would not behoove him over the course of his career.
Right, exactly. You're going to because basically rookie scale contracts are 4 years. You get to sign, an extension after 3. That extension doesn't kick in until after your 4-year deal is out. But, like if Cooper Flag goes in and does what they think he's going to do, I mean, like Victor Wembanyama is certainly going to get a max extension from San Antonio when it's time, so that would be, I think, next summer would be his opportunity, and whatever a max deal is, he's going to get, so you're talking about a max deal is 25 to 30% of the salary cap, whatever that happens to be. Obviously it's going up. They've got a new media rights deal. So, I mean, I think, that number keeps going up. And so pretty soon, basically, like your baseline for what you're going to make, you're starting, if you're on a max contract, is $50 million a year, and that's a whole lot. Maxine's got a lot.
We're going to take a quick break. Let Maxine get everything out of her system. We've got Dustin Dopirak from the Indy Star with us. We're back with more from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios right after we take a pause for the cause. Be back right after these messages. Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. Ugly Grouper, located on beautiful Anna Maria in Florida, is the place to be, and not just because they have unforgettable meals, including locally sourced seafood. The Ugly Grouper has your favorite craft beers and cocktails, along with live music every day. The Ugly Grouper is family-friendly, able to host private parties, and has the biggest grouper you've ever seen. The Ugly Grouper is the place to be on Anna Maria Island, Florida. Tell them Indiana Sports Beat sent you. Go to theUglyGrouper.com for more information. When it comes to apparel and promotions, Freethink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. Freethink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. Freethink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what Freethink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth's sour mash bourbons, sweet mash, and hard road ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular toasted coconut rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Monday, getting your week started off. Hopefully, I see the sun out there, which I have not seen in quite some time. My gosh, it rained. I thought we were going to get on the ark there after a while, man. It was rolling.
My basement felt like the ark.
You're not alone. I think a lot of people were in that situation. But speaking of rolling, how about the Pacers? They have won 5 out of their last 6 and 4 straight, no less. But 5 out of their last 6, and they're on a roll, and they come back home with 3 straight home games.
Yep. And finish out the year, and they've got Cleveland in the last one. So, no, they put themselves in a really good position down the stretch here. The last night's win was really impressive. They, come back against Denver. I mean, the Joker had another Joker performance, 41 points, I think. How many assists, how many rebounds? I mean, I think it was 50. I think it was 15 rebounds, 13 assists, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to double check that as I'm talking. But, when he does that, they're not easy to beat. And, they did have the good fortune Jamal Murray was out, but the Pacers were missing Pascal Siakam. He had elbow bursitis. And basically, Siakam has just needed a break, basically. I mean, he's only taken, he's only missed 1 game since the Pacers got him last January for personal reasons last March, or not last March, but in March. And so this is the first time he missed a game for what was delineated as injury reasons, but I think you just really saw fatigue, and I think they were just like, we've got to give him a day. But it's tough to beat a team that's got possibly the best player in the world out there. And they managed to pull it off. I mean, just really impressive across the board. 125, 120 win out there. It's the first time they had lost 9 straight to Denver, obviously, as the Nuggets have risen up to be one of the more powerful teams in the league, and Joker's risen up to be, multi-time MVP. They've had, they just have not been able to stop, and they didn't really stop him last night, but I mean, they held him 12 points in the second half. Miles Turner, I thought, did a really good job of defending him, but they obviously sent a bunch of guys and made his life a lot more difficult in the second half and the first. And they found some offensive rhythm. I thought Tyrese Halliburton did a really good job. He was getting double teamed the entire time. And he only took 1 shot in the first half. And sometimes that's a harbinger of some bad things to come. Basically, if he's not aggressive, that they tend to do poorly. They were, I think, 2-8 this year going into last night in games in which he didn't score 10 points. And one of those was a game which he sat out the entire second half. They managed to rally without him entirely because he had a groin strain. This time, basically, he was still being aggressive, even though he wasn't taking a lot of shots. I think he just saw that the double team was obviously there, and they were forcing him to move the ball, but he was moving it well and was teeing up some good shots. I think everybody else did pretty well. Everybody else in the starting lineup had at least 17 points, and all of those guys shot better than 50% from the floor. So really good work of them moving the basketball. They had some really good performances off the bench. Jarris Walker, I think, has continued to really shoot it well. 4 or 5 from the floor, 3 from 3, rebounding it well. Seeing better defense from him. TJ McConnell hit some big shots. A lot of things just came together in that game, and I think you would be, I think, a little bit concerned, not with how they were playing. I mean, basically, like a lot of their winning streak, at least half their winning streak, comes from the fact that they are getting some teams that are tanking. They got Charlotte, and they got Utah in their previous 2 games, teams that have no motivation to win basketball games organizationally. At least there are guys who have motivation to play hard and play well, but it's not good for Utah or Charlotte to win games right now. They want to get Cooper Flagg, and they should keep themselves in the best position possible to do so. And if they're not going to get Flagg, get somebody else. Get VJ Edgecombe or whoever. Just be in a position to get those kind of guys. It doesn't make a lot of sense for them to win. So they were fortunate they pulled that off. But you can get lulled into a false sense of security after a while if you keep winning games like that. And so you have to gear up and kind of remind yourself what it's like to play somebody at playoff level as you're heading towards it. And last night had some playoff qualities to it. They just terrific shot making on both sides, and they had to make enough defensive plays to get it done. So I think a really good performance in that one that sets them up nicely. This week's going to be weird. They've got a 3-game lead on 4th place in the East. I think they're 3 back of 3rd. So it might not be, by the middle of the week, they might be locked in for 4th. And so they might not be playing anybody by Thursday, Friday, and the teams they're playing might not be playing anybody by Thursday, Friday. I mean, Cleveland, I think, is probably going to be locked into the number 1 seed in the East, but without the opportunity to get the number 1 overall seed, to have home court if there would be the NBA Finals. So by Thursday, when they see Cleveland, they might not see Donovan Mitchell or Evan Mobley or any of those guys. And certainly I can't imagine that by Sunday, both of those teams will be playing. So I'd presume that, those games are going to be weird. And, they're playing a Washington team tomorrow that they just hung 162 points on, about a week and a half ago now. So that's going to be, it's going to be awkward. It's going to be a strange final week. But I think that's what makes Sunday's game even more important, was that it might be the last real high level game they play before the playoffs, where pretty much everybody's out there and you're really going at it. And for them to be able to pull that win off on the road is good for the confidence, but it's good for just the functionality, just proving that you know what you're doing, and the level that you need to rise to going into postseason. Because again, you're going to have about a week worth of probably weird games, and then you're going to have a week off, basically, as they run through the play-in round before they finally get back on the floor and play games that really matter. And so they're going to have an opportunity to get right, but they'll. What am I trying to say here? Yeah, basically, it's going to be a strange week. So leading into that, it was good to get a really good win.
Yeah, and like I said, they've won 4 straight, and you have 3 more straight at home. This is about as good a situation as you'd want to be in. You're solidly in the 4th spot. You're not going to give that up, and
no, you shouldn't.
Are they going to rest some guys here with these home games, or you going to play your guys? What's going to be the situation?
Yeah, I mean, they have to lock up the 4 first. They have to lock it up. They have, I think their magic number is 2 to lock up the 4. So they've got, I think, so it basically they're 3 up on Milwaukee with 4 to play. But Milwaukee has the tiebreaker because they won 3 out of the 4, regular season matchups. So basically, they could still technically blow it if the Pacers just, let the bottom fall out. They'd be in trouble. I mean, even if they and they probably have to win more than 1 game. If they get a win and Milwaukee loss, then they wrap up the 4. And they're also 3 back of the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks have the tiebreaker in that one. So technically, it makes sense for them to stick around until they're formally eliminated from that too. So they're probably going to at least play their guys against Washington on Tuesday. And it's a question of, by the time they play Thursday against Cleveland, are they still going to need to do it? So that's probably a toss-up situation as to in terms of whether they will. Certainly, they're not going to play all their guys on Sunday. Presumably, by then everything will be taken care of. They're not going to have to go out in all out in the last game of the year. Cleveland won't either. So if you happen to be going to wanting to go watch the season finale in Cleveland, don't expect to see Tyrese Halliburton and Donovan Mitchell and Pascal Siakam and Evan Mobley. I can't imagine for the life of me that all those guys will be out there. But maybe Thursday they'll still play their guys. It'd probably be a reach for that still things to still be in limbo by Friday. So yeah, I mean, especially for guys like Halliburton and Siakam and Turner, I would think those 3 in particular, you're probably going to want to rest. Siakam, Halliburton, basically always has back stuff, has had upper leg stuff. You're not trying to play around with that. Siakam again is listed with bursitis, but I think there's just a general level of fatigue. I mean, he just needs, if you can give him some time, you give him some time. I mean, you've asked a lot from that guy, all year. I think he's had 2 games he's missed 2 games, and he's had 2 games in which he didn't score double figures in the entire time he's been with the Pacers. So I mean, the guy's been just a remarkable rock for them. It's just probably a good idea if you can spare a couple games to let him chill out. Do that. I mean, Miles Turner obviously is a guy that's got a lot of tread on the tires. At 29, basically, their all-time leading shot blocker. Basically, has got a kind of awkwardly built body. That guy could always use a couple days. Maybe Aaron Nesmith obviously had the ankle injuries at the beginning of the season. Wouldn't be a bad idea to give him a rest. So most of their starting 5 could probably afford to take some time, basically to get healed up and stuff. And they certainly have some depth on this team. Expect to see a lot of Johnny Furphy minutes in the last weekend. So it would be smart for them to do it, but I mean they still have to play it out because you could still blow it. You could still blow it. So I mean they'll certainly have to play their guys on Tuesday. Certainly got to get that one. There's no reason not to get that one. I mean the Wizards have no reason to win. So you just slammed them at their place. There's no reason, that game, it will probably still end up being competitive because the rhythm these things have taken is they've messed around for a half and let these teams hang around before finally kind of putting their foot on their throat in the second half. And it does seem like those teams tend to figure out at some point, like, we don't need to win this game. That's not a good idea. So I presume they'll be able to get by Tuesday without too much of a problem. But they'll be playing all their guys Tuesday, and then you would think Thursday, if they can do it, they'll start to rest guys. Friday, you certainly think if they can do it, they'll start to rest guys. And by Sunday, I can't imagine they'll be playing anybody.
Speaking of the national championship, Russell says that Eric Gordon tweeted congratulations to Coach Sampson. Of course, why would he not? He's in a spot to win a national championship, man. It's going to be tough, though. Florida, I picked them to win this thing, but they beat the Dragon. They slayed the Dragon and beating Duke, and that was a tough road to hoe, man, to get that job done. And they did it by just playing their game and not letting Duke impose their will upon them.
Sure, and that's what they did the entire time. I mean, Houston definitely, out of all the Final Four teams, had the toughest road. And they probably were the fourth seed, of the four. I mean, I don't know that looking at this right now, but I mean, you could probably tell me, but I'd be pretty sure. Like Houston was fourth of four going in. What, weren't they? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they were one of the four number one seeds. Yeah,
they were the fourth of four, basically. Like when they do the
I think so. Yeah,
because they do the whole thing 1-68, and I'm pretty sure Houston was 4. Because I mean they had they had a super tough bracket. Basically, obviously, Tennessee, Gonzaga is an 8 seed. Which I get why it was that. I mean, Gonzaga lost the games that put you in the 8 if you're Gonzaga. I mean, there was a minute where people were wondering if they were getting in. But the talent that they've got, that's a tough 8 seed to play. And then, you get you get Purdue after that, and that was a tough game, and that came down to it. And obviously, they managed to beat up on Tennessee a little bit, but I mean, I thought that was a really good game. And so they were pretty battle tested, by the time they came in. And I think Kelvin made a point of saying, like, we played in the Big 12. It's not like, everybody was talking about the SEC all year because it's kind of rare, and certainly the SEC was the better league. The Big 10 got a lot of teams in, but I mean, the Big 12 had what typically, before, the Big 10 and the SEC being kind of the super conferences they are, would be considered an excellent year, for a regular basketball conference. I mean, there's a lot of depth in that league, and they came out on top of it, and it was really impressive. And they were just saying, hey, we know how to do this. We've been in part of grinds, and even, last year the Big 12 was excellent. I think they came in battle tested, and they're even more battle tested, and they're not afraid of anything. And, that's how Sampson coaches them up. And obviously, again, if you're an Indiana fan, you have and you are still bothered by him, you have every right to be, certainly, because there were rules in place at the time and he violated them. And those rules aren't in place anymore because nobody cares. But, in terms of an on-court coach, he's just as good as they get. Just pure X's and O's, whatever goes on in terms of what he did to attempt to build that roster and the guys that were around and, them, whether how much they went to class, didn't go to class, everything else, when Kelvin gets, 5 guys on the floor, 10 guys on a roster, 12 guys on a roster, he's able to coach him up and make him play his way as well as anybody in college basketball over the last 20 years.
Yeah, we'll certainly find out who gets to go where. I mean, Todd Golden just a couple of years ago was out at San Francisco, somebody nobody had ever heard of. I was thinking about him, John Shire, the youth that was at this Final Four, the youth in these coaches that have climbed and quickly put together a type of team to do what they've done. But how ironic would it be for the SEC to have the most incredible year of any conference in the history of college basketball, but to not win the national championship?
I mean, we've seen stuff like that before. We've certainly seen really good leagues put a ton of teams in and not quite get there. I mean, the Big Ten's had some great years where they've stacked them. I mean, even, I think you think back to 2021 when the tournament was all here. The Big Ten put a ton of really good teams in Illinois and Michigan, and they looked like there was a possibility they could have multiple teams in the title game, and it didn't work out that way. And so, it ends up being, Baylor over Gonzaga. But I mean, like the Big Ten had a bunch of teams that were right there. And I think that had been the case, that they've had seasons where, and the Big Ten hasn't won a national championship since 2000. But they've had a lot of years that were close. I mean, you certainly have had great Big East seasons. You go back to, 85 when they put 3 in the Final Four, and it was totally nuts. But you've had some really good ones, and there have been times when, those great leagues have just not been able to put the one team together. And sometimes you go in knowing that's not going to be the case. But it could go either way. I mean, this seems like a real coin flip game to me. From the distance that I'm seeing it, I mean, I think it could go either way. And the way that these games have been played, both Final Four games were played. I mean, it could come down to a couple possessions. I mean, you could be, 2 minutes left in the second half and not have any idea who's going to win it. I think there's a pretty good possibility that's the case, and it's going to come down to handful of possessions, handful of plays. I mean, that's what this those two teams, the way that they function, the way that they've operated, I kind of think that's how it's going to be. Is that you're not going to know 2-3 minutes to go who's going to win this game.
I agree, brother. I agree. As always, thank you very much. Enjoy these. I'm glad you don't have to go out of town.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I didn't have to go to Denver last night, and yeah, it sticks around close. So I mean, it's got to drive up to Cleveland on Saturday, but I'm not upset about that.
Could be
yeah,
worse.
not only that,
Could be worse.
Yeah, the Pacers, real quick on that. I mean, the Pacers are in good shape as far as limiting their travel going forward in the postseason. I think that they're going to end up with either, Detroit or Milwaukee in the first round. Probably again at this point, probably going to host 4 out of 7. And then Cleveland certainly is the 1 seed, going forward. So there's a good chance they don't have to leave the Central Division in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. So like everything's drivable, which is certainly nice for us from a expenses standpoint, but also kind of nice for them. It's not that weary of travel. They've gotten through all their West Coast travel, and they don't even have to do a lot of East Coast travel. The way the postseason is lining up so far.
Sounds good, brother. Appreciate you as always.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Jim.
Thank you. Make sure you're giving Dylan a follow, or Dustin rather, Dustin Dopirak at the Indy Star. He is the Pacers beat writer, but he follows everything. Appreciate you guys. We've got more on the backside. We got to take a quick break. We're back with it right after these messages. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth's sour mash bourbons, sweet mash, and hard road ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular toasted coconut rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer. Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. And you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles.
Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Monday. So happy to have you along and happy to have this day in. Been a easy, fun one. And we've got the national championship game tonight between Florida and Houston. Just as I picked it out, as I'm looking at my, I had to go to the Second Chance men's tournament challenge that the ESPN had because I was working on that first when it opened up and was like 10, 15 minutes late and you got locked out of the whole thing, which I was like, dude, seriously? So nothing there for me, but I think I've done pretty well in here. I can't see what my points are, but I've got both players in the final game. So I don't know what my points are, but I don't think I'm winning. But man, I can't be that far off. But speaking of which, we'll look at the ISB tournament and view that bracket. I am definitely not winning that one. Who is winning it? Well, we have to find out. Let's see. My group is ISB Radio, and we'll put that in there real quick and see who comes up. I may not be able to get it pulled up that quick. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll wait. No sense in doing it until the winners come out. I looked for, man, I was looking down that Montverde roster. Unbelievable from last year. Unbelievable. The guys, 4 players in the top 16 of the draft from a prep school team, not a college team, from a prep school team, people. Number 1, number 3 in the top 10. 3 top 10. Kevin Boyle is going to have 4 first-round draft picks from one team. How many college coaches have ever had that? He's going to have 4 first-round draft picks from one team. How many college coaches have ever had 4 first-round draft picks? It's nuts. The guy he knows talent. He knows how to coach talent. And now he's at Spire Academy up near Cleveland. Someone said a minute ago, is the Montverde pipeline over now? I'm like, will there be a pipeline? What will they have? Spire Academy might be the new place, and it's closer to home. Potentially see kids from Indiana going there. You don't know. Who knows? I mean, that's definitely going to be a challenger to La Lumiere. I'm not very familiar with Spire Academy. I'll be honest with you, I had not heard of it prior to Kevin Boyle taking that job. And it's obviously they're serious about it because you hired the guy away in getting Kevin Boyle. You hired the guy that has won 8 out of the last 12 national championships. You wonder why he hasn't gone the college route. There's just more continuity is not the word I'm looking for, but the life expectancy is a lot longer as a coach here than it is in college. He's their new director of basketball and national high school head coach. They announced that back on March 13th, less than a month ago. But just think of all that he brings to that. Cade Cunningham, Joel Embiid, Kyrie Irving, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Ben Simmons, D'Angelo Russell, Jalen Duren, Liam McNeely, Cooper Flagg, Derek Queen, Asa Newell. I mean, you just keep adding that, and those guys will come back and see him. His sons, Kevin Jr. and Brendan, have been a part of his long-time coaching journey. They are going with him, obviously. I saw that one of the former assistants at Montverde was coaching
Montverde up at the Chipotle Nationals. So, and they have named their head coach. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. That's a huge, huge deal. They were serious about their basketball, and I don't know what it was that lured him out of Florida that there wasn't the opportunity to answer. But I think that it may have been more to do with the people, the admin, because you look at how this thing ended with them not allowing him to coach the team at the national championship. Well, that was dumb on their part. You're only hurting your program. So it seems like there was some ego involved. And I'm not saying that was Kevin Boyle. I'm saying the opposite, to be honest with you. Why you would do that, I have no idea. Who knows? Who you got tonight, people? First thing I see from Roswell is shrooms and snakes. Man, he's out hunting in the woods. I want nothing to do. I could buy all the mushrooms I want at the store without dealing with snakes. No, thank you. Russell said he moved to Phoenix, had to keep his windows up, afraid of tarantulas. Yeah. See, I'm not going to be living in a place that I have to worry about tarantulas and spider or being in a place with snakes all the time. What in the world is going on with you boys? Man. The truth, Robert Carter. Haven't seen you for a minute, brother. Hitting us up on the hotline. Says, what's up with the basketball team? Well, they're slowly filling in the spots, man. They are slowly filling in the spots, but it's glad to see the truth. He's an Evansville dude, man. He's all everywhere. You hear him on every post-game show. He makes his appearances here frequently. Creek Walker says, let me take you mushroom hunting. Yeah, I mean, I'm a country boy, so it's not like I don't like the outdoors. I do. I'm not about snakes. I can tell you that. I love mushrooms. Shenanigans had Florida beating Duke. I guess that's tonight. Jason says that Dockett should have had a show cause penalty too. Why? No, that's not true. That is absolutely not true. You guys are talking about the Kelvin Sampson business. And again, instead of Kelvin Sampson, the people should be pissed at the president, Herbert. He is the one that forced that hire. Why is the anger not towards that guy? That's the guy that made that happen. If you didn't like the hire, then go to the guy who forced it. That was the then president who stuck his nose in where he shouldn't have been. Didn't know anything about coaching hires. What's wrong with these people? They know better than that. Come on. Come on. Double bag of mushrooms, I guess. Indiana Creek Walker says, Darren DeVries, if you're listening, Robert Wright just hit the portal. Sounds like an actor. Dude, the portal is so full of players. They are going after the ones that they think are going to fit the system. Not that they don't want great players. They want as good of players as possible that will fit their system and become a team. Like what you're seeing tonight, like what you'll see tonight with Florida and Houston. Those guys play as a team. It's fun to watch. Cannot wait to watch it. Big thank you to every single person out there today. Of course, huge thanks to Dane Fife for joining us. Great conversation with Dane. Love him to death, man. He's always been great and continues to be so. If you're in need of commercial insurance, well, Dane's the guy, man. That's what he's doing now. Again, thanks to everybody for joining us on the program today. Big thank you to Dane Fife. We're back tomorrow to do this all again. Cannot wait. We'll see who the national champion is. Where do we go from there? What's up next with Indiana? Etc., etc. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. Wish you well. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.